Hello everyone and welcome to another problem solving session on Special Maths Academy. And in today's video, we are going to be covering the 25th problem in the Senior First Round Maths Olympiad 2020. The question goes like this. Let n be a natural number, at least 2. Consider a set of n non-negative real numbers whose sum is equals to 1. Let alpha be the minimum of their pairwise difference. Given n, what is the maximum value of alpha? So this question now is like there's a kind of like ambiguity in what they mean by pairwise difference here. So what I mean exactly is they didn't really specify if we are to take the positive pairwise difference, which is what I'm thinking most likely is what they asked for, or to take both the positive and the negative difference, like if you consider two of them differently. So with respect to that, like I'm going to like do the two cases when like the positive and negative differences are considered differently, and when we like just focus on only the positive pairwise difference, that's like essentially the same as the absolute value difference, the absolute value of the difference. So when we like okay, let me just give some concrete examples of what I mean. For example, now let's say we're dealing with n equals to 3. What I mean by taking them separately is let's say our variables are maybe 2 over 5, a2 is 2 over 5, and a3 is 1 over 5, because I want to try and make them satisfy their sum to be 1. So what I mean by difference is that we take that a1 minus a2 will be our difference, and also a2 minus a1 will also be under difference. Like these two, they will be considered distinct, because this question is a bit ambiguous. They said pairwise difference. They didn't say positive pairwise difference. So that's how it usually goes. But in this case, I'll just do the both of them when they just like, I'll do the first case like what is written in the question, and I also do the second case when like they talk about positive pairwise difference, which I think is what they meant. So because the pairwise difference part is a bit trivial, but I'll still cover it. So what I mean is like these two things will be considered different. So in this case, we have like 6 terms. Like that is a2 minus a3. It's also different on a3 minus a2. a3 minus a1 will also be different with a1 minus a3. So now these are the 6 for this case. So first of all, now let's do the case as it is written in the question when we are not really specifying if it's positive pairwise difference. So you take both positive and negative. So with respect to that, we can these are because the variables are symmetric and like we're considering all differences, so it doesn't really matter. So that's why we can like say without loss of generality that we order the variables in this form. So this is not like a special case. It's not difficult to see why this assumption, it simplifies our work, but it's not like losing generality, like we're still covering everything out. So this is what we start with. Then because we're considering like all possible pairs, so what we're essentially dealing with like sigma of maybe ai minus aj, where I is not equals to j and ij is less than equals n less than 1. I'm not really sure if this is how to write notation, but this is like what we're essentially going to talk about. So now if you notice like okay, this is like all the terms in this summation are the terms that we're talking about. So the reason I brought in this summation is that if you notice, when we add all the possible terms together, we're going to like get a sum of 0. Like it's not so difficult to see why, because like in the special case when n was 3, I gave like we noticed that a3 and a1 was different from a1 and a1 minus a3. So like when you just add these two complements together, I get 0. So for each term here, you can always find its complement. So you can add two of them together, and at the end of everything, just get a bunch of zeros together. And definitely when you add them together, you still get 0. So this is why it's not so difficult to like see why this sum is 0. So now from here, what are we going to do? So it means that the sum of every possible pairwise difference is 0. So then so imagine now we have how many terms are now here? So they are going to be n combination 2 times 2 terms. N combination 2 because we are choosing 2 numbers out of the n of them. Then we're multiplying by 2 because a3 minus a1, like the order is actually matters. So these two things are considered distinct. That's why we're multiplying by 2. So there are n minus 1 terms here. We're adding a group of n minus 1 terms. Let's say b1 plus b2 plus bn minus 1. Yeah. So definitely, like if we're adding like a group of, it doesn't even matter what this is. If we're just adding a group of numbers and their sum is 0, then definitely like the minimum of all these numbers here, because that's what the question is asking us for. They say first of all, should like look for the minimum of the pairwise difference and find the maximum value of alpha. So the minimum of any of these pairwise differences, which is represented as the bi's here, that is b1 to b2 or b3 or up to bn minus 1. Definitely, like the minimum should be less than or equals to 0. Because if all of them are greater than 0, then there's no way their sum will be equals to 0. So it means that the minimum is less than or equals to 0. So now what is the maximum value of a number that is less than or equals to 0? The maximum possible value is 0. Okay, so what I mean is that we have gotten that the minimum of their pairwise difference is 0. It's less than or equals to 0. It can actually be equals to 0, but as at this stage now that we have gotten this inequality, it doesn't necessarily mean the answer is 0. The answer is only 0 if we can find an example which will give the difference to be 0. And it's very easy to find such an example. You just make all the ai's to be equals to 1 over n. So when you do all this, all the numbers are the same. So definitely when you subtract all of them together, you get that each pairwise difference is 0. So this the answer to the question, if we are considering these two differences, a3 minus a1 and a1 minus a3, and everything related to this, if we are considering two of them to be different, then the answer to this question is 0. And an example that works is when all the terms are 1 over the number of real numbers there, 1 over n. And the reason why I did this, I wanted to make sure all of them are equal. And there are n numbers and all of them are equal and their sum is 1. So that's why I chose this. Because n of them are to be equal to make their difference 0. And their sum is 1. So each of them have to be this. Yeah. So that's how to do the question if we are considering these two things to be different. But I doubt, as I said earlier on, this is the more trivial case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do what I think they meant. So what I think they meant was that you take the positive pairwise difference, so or the absolute difference. For example, now let's say we have a2, a1 is equals to 2 over 5, a2 is equals to 2 over 5 also, and a3 is equals to 1 over 5. So in this case now, we're just going to we're just going to have only 3 terms here, no longer 6. So as you can see, there's a little bit of difference here. A1 and A2, A1 minus A2 and A2 minus A1, they are not counted different. They are just counted as the positive difference. That's absolute value of their difference. So this is the second thing I think they may have meant in this question, because it's a bit ambiguous the way it's written now. So we also do this case now. Remember, I said when they are counted differently, the answer is A equals to 0. But I doubt that's what they meant in this question. So I'll just do the case when we're talking about positive pairwise difference. Let me write it in positive or absolute pairwise difference, yeah. Or non-negative pairwise difference, because sometimes it can be 0 but positive, yeah. Kind of means positive and non-negative. So now what we are going to do is we're also going to use that same without loss of generality assumption. So I'm saying this is not a special case, it's just it simplifies things a lot for us, but it's not making the question. It's not we're not doing a special case of question by making this assumption, though it's going to really help us. So now, as I said, so now what are going to be the all the possible terms here? They are going to be n combination 2 possible differences here. In this case, we're not going to multiply by 2 because we're talking of absolute difference or positive difference. We're only going to consider one of the differences, not the both of them. So there's no need multiplying by 2 here. So we're going to have, these are going to be the possible positive pairwise differences. A2, A1 minus A3, so A1 minus AN. And I'm trying to arrange it in this form because to arrange it in this form, it's so A2 minus AN. Then I go to the next one, A3 minus A4, N2, A3 minus AN. Then how we end it, just go on and on. So AN minus 1 minus AN. So actually, each of these terms I wrote in the absolute values are non-negative because of this order I arranged the variable. So we can actually clean out the absolute values here. So now, let's say, okay, so this is the key part of this solution now, in this second case. If you notice, the question says let alpha be the minimum of the positive pairwise difference. So we all know that, for example, now we know that we're 100% sure that this cannot be the minimum possible difference. Why? So why can't this be the minimum possible difference? This cannot be the minimum possible difference because we have that A1 minus A3 is greater than or equals to A1 minus A2. So this is always, or we can put absolute value, but they are all positive. So, and this is true because A2, this is true if I leave A2 is greater than or equals to A3. And we set the conditions of the variables like this. So yeah, this inequality here is true. This is correct, it's a true inequality based on the way we arrange our variables. So what we are now going to observe, what we observe here is that there are some terms here that can never be like the minimum of these pairwise differences. For example, now A1 minus A3 cannot be the minimum. Also, A1 minus A4 cannot be the minimum because A1 minus A4 is in fact greater than or equals to this. And similarly, A1 minus A5, that's if n is up to 5, it cannot also be the minimum. So that observation is going to be really helpful. And after we make that observation, we see that the only possible pairwise differences that can be the minimum are A1 minus A2, A2 minus A3, A3 minus A4, ... till AN minus 1 minus AN. That's like the difference when like the subscripts are just one distance apart. So it's not so difficult to like see why the minimum has to come from the set of these numbers. It can't come from something like A1 minus A5 or A1 minus A6 because we found another term among these differences that is less than it. So that can be the minimum. That's less than or equal to it. So that can be the minimum. So that's the key observation using this step. So how many terms are now in this are set that may give us the minimum? How many absolute values are here? So there are n minus 1 possible minimums. So we are just going to, from here now, here we're going to start applying our inequality. So let's now say, let our minimum be alpha. Okay, the question says alpha. Okay, so the minimum is alpha. So what will that mean? It means that absolute value of A1 minus A2 should be greater than or equals to alpha. Absolute value of A2 minus A3 should be greater than or equals to alpha. Or actually, we can remove these absolute values because we ordered our variables to like these differences are positive because of the way we arranged our variables at the beginning. So A3 minus A4 is greater than or equals to alpha, like that, up to AN minus 1 minus AN is greater than or equals to alpha. So yeah, from this whole thing, we can just carry the other variable to the other side of the equation. I'll get that A1 is greater than or equals to alpha plus A2. A2 is greater than or equals to alpha plus A3 till AN minus 1 is greater than or equals to alpha plus AN minus 1. So now, what can we do? So what we're going to do now is we can okay. So what we're going to do now is we can just create a chain of inequalities here now. This part is going to be a bit confusing, but we should be able to get over it. So from this first A1. So now from this second inequality you have here, you gotta have that A2 is greater than or equals to this. Okay, let me write this upside down so it will be a bit clearer. Because yeah, you see the reason why I'm writing from bottom to top now. So AN minus 1 greater than or equals to alpha plus AN. AN minus 2 is greater than or equals to alpha plus AN minus 1. AN minus 3 is greater than or equals to alpha plus AN minus 2 till A2 is greater than or equals to alpha plus A3. A1 is greater than or equals to alpha plus A2. Yeah, so in this form now, it's going to be really helpful. Yeah, it's going to be more naturally. So now from this our first inequality you have here, what I did here, I just started writing this inequality from down to top. So in case you don't really see how I got all these inequalities. And I just carried these other terms of the sequence to the right-hand side of the inequality. So what we have in this first inequality is an minus 1 is greater than equals alpha plus an. Then second one, an minus 2 is greater than equals alpha plus an. So these are an here. We can apply a chain of inequality here. So we get that this is greater than equals alpha plus an. So that is what? 2 alpha plus an. So an minus 2 is greater than 2 alpha plus an. So now these are an minus 3 now. We have that is greater than equals alpha plus an minus 2. But an minus 2 is greater than this, so we can apply a chain. So that's why I say it's better to write this upside down, like from bottom to top. So this alpha plus an minus 2 is greater than equals to what? 2 alpha plus an. So this equals to what? 3 alpha plus an. Then like that, it's not so difficult to like see that a2 will be greater than equals to alpha plus. Then we're expecting a3. Like, look at this first of all. An minus 2 greater equals to 2 alpha plus an. An minus 3 greater equals to 3 alpha plus an. It's not so difficult to like show by induction that a2 will be greater equals to n minus 2 alpha plus an. It's not, you can just easily do that. It's not yeah, it will be greater equals to this. Yeah. And this will be greater equals to n minus 1 alpha plus an. So this is all we have now. So from here, what can we do next? What we can do next is we can add this first, all these terms at the beginning of the inequality. So the sum of all this will definitely be greater than equals to the sum of all these having alphas and an. So when we add all this together, what do you have? We have that a1 plus a2 plus a3 till an minus 1 is greater than equals to alpha plus an, that's for the first one, plus 2 alpha plus an for the second one, till n minus 1 alpha plus an. So what can we do now? Remember, the sum of all these variables is equals to 1. This here we're going to use that fact. So this is very close to the sum of everything. So we can just add an to both sides. So when we add an to both sides, what do we have? We have that 1 is greater than or equals to an plus alpha plus an plus dot 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 plus n minus 1 alpha plus an. So from here, what can we now do? We can now like find the exact value of this. So an occurs not so difficult to that. We get nan plus alpha 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus dot 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 till n minus 1. So this equals to nan plus n minus 1 or n minus 1 n over 2 alpha. And so we'll have that 1 greater than or equals to this. So have 1 greater than or equals to we have that 1 is greater than or equals to n plus n minus 1 over 2 alpha. What can we now do from here? We can carry everything to one side of the equation and see what we get. So I'll scroll down a bit. We can make an to stand alone on this right hand side. So make an the subject of formula kind of. So have that 1 minus n minus 1 alpha over 2 is at least an. So what does this mean? It means that an is less than or equals to 1 minus n minus 1 alpha over 2 over n. Yeah, so this is what we have. This is the inequality we have now. So as from here now, it looks as if we're stuck. But if we go back to the question, that's why it's a good idea to read the question very well. What does it say? It says that consider a set of n non-negative. This is the final part to using the question. All the terms are non-negative. So the smallest should be non-negative. Like regardless of how small an should be, should at least be 0. So it means that an is greater than 0, greater than or equals to 0. But here we have an upper bound of an and we have a natural lower bound of an based on what we're given the question. So we have that an 1 minus n minus 1 alpha over 2 over n. So we can just kind of like skip this middle term out, and it should imply that this is greater than or equals to this. So we should have that 1 minus n minus 1 alpha over 2 over n should be greater than or equals to 0. So we can like multiply both sides by n and we get that this is true. So we're almost done. So we can now carry this to the right hand side of the equation and we get that this is true. Then from here we can arrange the terms properly and get that alpha is less than or equals to 2 over n minus 1. So this is giving us an upper bound of alpha. So it means that this is the maximum value of alpha. But as at this stage, we are not yet done with our question. Remember, because if we have to prove all these maximum and minimum value questions, we have to like first of all get the inequality. And after we have gotten the inequality, we should find a case of equality, like an example where these alphas and all this equality holds. So if we go back to our question now, see that this 2n minus 1 is actually in the option, and that is actually the answer we get. But we're not yet done. We have to like find an equality, like some values of a1, a2, a3 to an that gives us this inequality. That gives us that an is that gives us alpha is at least option D. So we just like have to make sure all inequalities here give us equality cases. So remember, all the inequalities we applied here, they have to like give us equality cases. So what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that that's to give us equality case all the time. So it means that and this inequality we have here, we should make it equal. This should also be equal. All the n inequalities we have here should all be equal. For us to like try and check if equality can hold here. So actually, if alpha is equal to 0, let's just check first of all if alpha is equal to this we have on the right hand side, let's check whether it still be able to satisfy all the properties of the question. You can verify that it still satisfies all the properties of the question, then that will be the answer. If it cannot, it means that this should be a strict inequality. So first of all, this is what we have. So let's check first of all, check if alpha is equal to 2 over 2n minus 1, what will it now mean? To mean that this is 0. 1 minus alpha will be this, because just rearrange. So it means that an should be 0. This will be 0, 0. It's less than or equals 0, greater than or equals 0. So it's 0. So then after that, this is our first inequality we have here. To mean that what? An minus 1 should be equal to alpha. Okay, let me just write it down here. It should mean that an is equal to 0. An minus 1. Remember, an minus 1 greater than or equals to alpha plus an. So for equality to hold here, it means that it has to be equal to alpha. And an minus 2, similarly, an minus 2 should be equal to 2 alpha. An minus 3 should be equal to 3 alpha. Till a3 should be equal to n minus 3 alpha. A2 should be equal to n minus 2 alpha. And a1 should be equal to n minus 1 alpha. So let's now replace all this with alpha here. So we get that ak, after I replace everything here with alpha, get that ak should be equals to it's going to be equals to k. Oh, okay, let's just do it here. Okay, so in this case now, after we get all these, if we add all these terms together, we see that like the sum will actually be 1, and all of them are non-negative, and even the way we ordered our variables like that, a1 should be the biggest till an the smallest to still satisfy order. So this is a possible solution. So we have been able to find an example of an alpha that works. Like we have been able to find an example of a sequence that gives us equality of this at this point for alpha. So that means that this inequality here, equality actually holds at some places. So it means that the answer to this question is actually alpha equals to 2. It's equals to this. Remember, this is the second possible case of the question, of the way I interpret the question, because it was a bit ambiguous at the beginning. But I believe this is the case they talked about, because as you saw, it was much more longer than the first case. It was a bit technical, it wasn't trivial. So this was how we were able to do this. We just had to go through a lot of inequalities, and we had to remember that their sum was equals to 1, and also that they were non-negative. That non-negative part was what helped us to be able to find the upper bound and the lower bound of AN, and we now compare two of them. We were able to get an inequality for alpha. So this is how to solve the question. I don't really know which one they meant, but I believe they meant the second. I don't really know which part the question meant, because they didn't specify if it's positive or not. But I believe they meant the part we just concluded now. So, but that's why I just did two of them, because depending on what exactly they meant. So this is all we have for today. And yeah, the video was a bit long, but because we did two parts and this question was a bit technical. So that's all we have for today. I hope you really enjoyed that class, and I'll see you some other time.